you mentioned it, but I'm gonna let you rock with this one first. So, the question is, what are 1 to 2 marriage red flags that you may see while you married? So you mentioned real quick that she had her issues too. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of times when we're in relationships, we'll see red flags, and we'll kind of act like they ain't there, or we may go through a process of trying to think about, should I,
Yeah.
kind of weighing your options. So, if you can think of, or um, w-
A red flag for me is if she's not living a healthy lifestyle.
no, no, I mean, like, I guess what I mean more. So let me I probably didn't clear it up good. So let me clear it up. What I mean is, like, so you're in a relationship, everything is going fine,
Right.
and you see this red flag, but you stayed. So what was like a red flag that you saw in a previous relationship, but you still stayed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like there are some that we see and we overlook.
I
They may not be there at first, but eventually they may show up.
I would say two. I have two clear. One was and I stayed because yeah, I did. Yeah, I would say a healthy lifestyle. She didn't have a healthy lifestyle, meaning she was able to drink and do her thing, and wine was important to her, shit like that. And I didn't pay attention to those signs. Like for me, I didn't know about it really. But then again, like I said, my time management sucked, and she had uh, she had a temper, and when I say a temper, an uncontrollable temper, meaning um, when she gets upset, she would say things to hit the jugular vein. It wouldn't just be something light that you would, brush off. It would be intentional, right? And it was not
And
it was,
personal.
yeah, it would be personal, like things you share maybe, but she would go after the jugular. She just wouldn't. It wouldn't be a surface. It would be the jugular, right? She was evil like that. I would say that was she was evil like that, and I didn't. But then again, like I said, my time management didn't really give me the time to see it. But I always overlooked it because she was hot, right? She was hot, man. Jesus, I'm telling you. So I've always overlook it. But then towards the end, when you get comfortable, looks goes out the window because you're so comfortable, you're hitting it every night, right? So it becomes, yeah, whatever, it's mine. Then you see clearer. But I didn't. Yeah, my time management. Those are the two red flags that I should have just bolted. And they didn't come late. They came pretty early. Not well, I wouldn't say pretty early. In the middle. Let's say in the middle. When I was aware of it. But I always thought it would change as we grew together. I always thought that would kind of like change, because you hope for the best. So yeah, I would say those two things. Yeah.
Vic, you had your mic unmuted. Go ahead.
You had yours unmuted too. You muted yours. So
Right?
that's why I was like going back and forth. If I say what 1 or 2 red flags while married, um, didn't want to work harder. You muted.
The ones you see twice tonight, right? Because I don't never really mute, man. I don't never really mute the
It's
mic. So
different. Like, but you see,
yeah,
when you mute it though, like you get a
can't
chance to
say
answer.
nothing.
You can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So 1 or 2 red flags. Number one, I would say is an extremely unvalidated vanity. Okay, um, because like after a certain period of time, if you want to invest in your vanity, it got to be making some money for you.
Mm.
Like who you vain for, you know, like who you can unhealthy competition. Unhealthy competition is a huge red flag for me. You
No
know what I'm saying?
code.
No code.
Mm.
Antoine, pay attention.
I swear to God, I love when you do that,
Un,
man.
unhealthy competition.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
Unhealthy competition is so. When you think about, I think like I try to look for encompassing words and phrases that make you think about your own thing. Because like if I come out with something specific, you're gonna be like, I didn't experience that specific thing, so they ain't got shit to do with me.
Mm.
So you can't relate to it, so you don't put it in your toolbox. You know what I'm saying? And unhealthy competition in general makes you think about every conflict that you've been in, give it some time to a person that didn't contribute back to nothing that you do on a regular basis. Unhealthy competition is like that one person that only speaks to you when it's time to disagree. They'll have nothing else to offer. You know what I'm saying? So like 2 red flags is unvalidated vanity, unearned, which is on just the side that I'm explaining just off the fly, but really unearned arrogance. Arrogant with nothing to show for it. Offering constructive criticism ain't never constructed nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never built nothing. And then the other part is, just what I was saying before in terms of just not being validated in some areas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like unearned arrogance and unhealthy competition.
Well, I got one. And that's when a woman shows you her desire to be independent. And what I mean by this, and that's more so if you're a man. I'm a man. I prefer a traditional type of relationship. I have nothing wrong with, and I don't mean that as far as being owning your own business or anything like that. But I feel at some point, well, how can I explain it? Just the, like when your ultimate goal, and what your narrative in the relationship is about, how you want to do things for yourself. When you're in a relationship and there are kids and stuff involved, then you don't come first anymore. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. Yes, you have to take care of yourself, do these different things like this. But you also have priorities called children. And you can't raise children, I think, adequately when your whole mindset is about doing what you want to do. So I think that when you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage and there's children and husbands and wives involved, if you're with someone and their ultimate goal is to be an independent person, then I think that that's a red flag because because both people don't want the same thing. So that's my one red flag that I like to say. What you got over there, Coach?
Man, I'm listening to these brothers and all this great information you guys are providing, and I'm agreeing with every last one of them. By the way, I think I'm gonna use my own words against me, right? And then I'm gonna kind of break it down, just kind of articulate the 2 points that I really want to get after. So, my big red flag is a person who does not make the right commitment, right? And so when you look at it from the perspective, the first one under that is a sense of entitlement. Antoine, I got to steal your word, right? Because what we don't realize is entitlement is extremely dangerous. It's one of those narcissistic traits that exist, and we don't necessarily get that. It's one of the 6 or 8 traits that exist within it. When a person literally, and I'm not saying, I'm not taking the conversation previously and contorting it, right? Sure, you can treat a person a particular type of way. I'm talking about from the standpoint of, father or the daddy raised them a particular type of way, and then they have the expectation for you to be their daddy in the scope of giving them what they want, how they want it, and so forth and so on as they go forward. That's one way of looking at it. And then within that understanding as well, the mismanagement of resources in the direction of it being detrimental to the agreed upon partnership. So
Ooh.
these things, these things, hey man, trust me, I can write a book about that one. So
Write it. Hey, you need a co-author.
listen, and here's the thing.
What do you call it in the
And
military? The misallocation of funds? Fraud, waste, and
misallocation of
abuse?
funds, right? But I don't want to keep it specifically to funds. Funds is
Yeah.
one of those arenas, right? Here's the thing that we need to understand. if we are in a relationship, sure, we love our children. Our children are no more important than either one of us. So my children don't supersede you as the mother, right? Start a flipper. Facts. Get a flipper, right? So I cannot put my children above you and make you feel less than my children, right? Nor can you do the same thing in reverse. We both collectively love our children. We just do it differently. You don't get to tell me how, and I don't get to tell you how. We need to understand those differences. And that is what makes a healthy relationship for those children, the differences in the mama and the daddy's love. So when we look at those misallocation of resources, right, we're talking about finances. We're talking about the way that we understand that ever so elusive word called love, and your understanding and articulation of it, and the way that you use it. Number three, using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Big shaking that head over there.
Man,
Coach
look,
hitting home runs, ain't he? You and Vic both hit a home run tonight.
and I ain't gonna touch on communication. That's another conversation.
Oh my
But
goodness.
the inability to have healthy conversation is a huge
And
red flag.
effective.
Those people
Ooh.
who shut down when we're trying to talk about things are just as toxic. Man, I can't talk right now. They are just as toxic as that person that Antoine, and I'm not saying the person is toxic. The behavior is that person that Antoine that talked about, that whenever she got mad, she went for the jugular. That's same level of toxicity, just on two different ends of the spectrum. Stonewalling is what it's called, is literally a leading cause to divorce. Criticism is another leading cause. It's called the four horsemen. Those are two of the four horsemen of divorce. When those things present themselves, they are literally heading down the path of divorce. So, man, I need to
Yeah.
unplug, bro.
Yeah.
I know you
I'm
said
trying
two.
to
I
see if
think I did about four. I apologize.
I'm trying to see if Antoine still want to get married after all that he done heard from
Oh
us.
yeah. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. You
Yeah,
guys know me. I
I'm
told you I
open.
want kids. I told you I want kids, man.
Yeah, this
Nothing's
isn't.
gonna. Even if I didn't.
Yeah,
Even if I had
this
kids.
shouldn't be.
I'm picking.
Yeah, this shouldn't be a deterrence
Informative.
at all. And this is for everybody. This shouldn't be a deterrence. This is just
No,
awareness.
this is good. This is good dialogue for people that are actually young folks out there. And I think they're gonna learn a lot from hearing it from men that have done it. Listen, marriage to me is a wonderful thing. I'm never going to talk down about marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful thing, but should be done under the right reasons. But it's a beautiful thing, and I have no problem with that. Like I said, if I want kids, so therefore I'm going to have to get married. You know, that's how it is, that's why when you said that, you married the girl because you got her pregnant, I said that is fantastic. That is the right thing to do. You did the
But
right.
really, is it though?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
think about most dudes out here. Let's think about average dudes right here
Oh,
running
please, they
around getting these
run.
girls pregnant. Right? These dudes ain't really trying to have no baby. They just out there trying to do what they do.
They
And
don't
baby
want to have
shower.
a baby. Then
I know they not planning.
Come on now.
Huh?
They
The
don't want to have a
gesture is
baby.
noble, but it may not necessarily be the best thing to do.
What was that?
The gesture can be noble, but maybe the person isn't marriage material.
Right. So just make sure you cover it up. Then don't have an excuse.
Well, we're not refuting whether or not it's an excuse. We're talking about after the decision's been made. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could talk about preventive measures. We've been talking about preventive measures. We're talking about young men that's already done it. You know what I'm saying?
They should get married. If it's not the right person for you, obviously not, because that's not going to be an environment that's going to be healthy for the child, right?
That's utopia. We know, we understand
Yeah.
that's utopia. We talking about people that have already done it, that's gonna watch this,
The baby
try to
here.
figure out how to correct themselves. People that didn't have no rudder, people
Right.
didn't have no oars. They just in the boat, just float. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole point of this platform is to put men of a certain experience that have had certain experiences in relationships in front of people to talk about what they did and what they would have done better.
Right.
It is not because anybody failed or anything like that. It's about the information that wasn't discussed prior. You know what I'm saying? It's about the variables. It's about the economics. It's about men of certain experience that have goal-driven conversations with each other on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that still want the same things as anybody else. There's a blue collar spectrum, a white collar spectrum of work and accomplishment, an entrepreneurial spectrum, however you want to look at family man. Everybody has different correlators that we all can agree with. We have something that makes us compatible, you know, in terms of just conversation, relationships, all relationships, you know what I'm saying, whether it be friendships or whatever. But like, strangely enough, we blow off the things that make our friendships work and think that the relationship energy is supposed to be something completely different. But the friendship piece is the part that makes it work. It's the part that when you make a mistake, you can rebound with your friends. See, if it's just based off of relationships and something romantic, the first time you mess up is strike one, strike two, and then you're out of there. You know what I'm saying? When the reality is life ain't even like that.
Mm-mm.
You like it in one voice we could say nobody's perfect, right? We'll say that and then write people off after, you know what I'm saying, one specific type of incident, you know what I'm saying, or one specific type of occurrence, and then we automatically box them in without really trying to understand what made them, you know what I'm saying, move the way that they move. So like, marriage is about really trying to create a better friendship out of the friendship that you already had that brought you to it, because you at least had to be friends with the person that you was with, or you weren't, or you was under some sort of delusion. I ain't gonna say illusion, because delusion is what you do to yourself. At some point you are looking at something, you looking at a red flag and you painting something else.
Right.
I gotta,
Did it again.
I gotta, I gotta agree with you 100%. And I just want to inject this one piece. And I'm gonna keep it short. I've always, I've said it on several different occasions, and I'm gonna say it again, especially when it comes down to, my marriage coaching clients. When we understand what your definition of love is, not just the words that you articulate, right? Um, Not just the words that you articulate what love is, not when everything is good, what love is, but when you really look at love the way you envision it in its totality. I think the truest picture that we have when it comes down to love is seen when we look at our children. For whatever reason, it changes shape when we look at another adult. And I don't know why that is. When you start considering your kids can mess up. You may chastise them, but you're going to forgive them. Your kids can literally not call you for a month, but when they call you, you're going to answer that phone. Let
Mm-hmm.
your significant other do that and watch how you behave. So I think, and this kind of gets back to the beginning, right? When we start talking about the roles, right? I think within the definition of those roles has to be what we articulate and what we understand love to be. And for that to exist, I really do believe that instead of being so enamored and committed to all of the external superficial features of a person, you need to fall in love with love and then connect with the person through the context of that. When you do that, what you'll understand is that there is nothing that that person can do that actually takes that love away. Yeah, you may be disappointed in their behavior right now, but love will drive you to sit down with that person, have an honest conversation, tell them how you feel, and then y'all talk about that, not justify why I did what I did. Because justification is all about me. I'm trying to render myself innocent. And when we start talking about those things, we're moving completely away from a partnership or an agreement. So apologize, but that was it.
Man, no need to apologize. We always looking to receive the knowledge that you always give us, man. But about to wrap up here in a little bit. But before we do, take a few minutes for Vic to drop some knowledge, give us a little tool for our tool bag today. Coach Dwyer, Coach Dwayne started off, this new segment last week, and I liked it, and I want to keep it going every week. Every week I want to get something else to offer. I got my pen ready, bro. I'm ready
You
too,
ready?
bro.
Oh,
I'm ready. We ready. You know what I'm saying? So let's
let
roll
me
with. I'm about to
let me
mute my
stretch.
mic. Hey, I'm gonna mute Antoine's mic,
Yeah,
and let's roll with it.
yeah,
I ain't gonna mute your mic, Antoine.
yeah. No, mute his mic. This ain't the time for him to interject in nothing. He been here all this time. He get to be quiet.
I was
So,
quiet. I didn't say a word.
hey, but
Antoine been good today.
he been good today. He been good.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy him. I'm gonna buy him a $5 Starbucks gift
I do
card or
have something
something.
Yeah,
to say. I do have something to say at the end of
of
that.
course you do. Go ahead.
Hey, we will have time for final thoughts after this.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean. My final thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, tool bag. You know what I'm saying? So, this whole conversation is about, to me, is about expectation management. Is one of the words I already dropped earlier, one of the phrases. But the other one is compatibility. Okay. Like, a lot of times we try to force things that shouldn't fit. And that's what a red flag is, when you're trying to put, like what you say, what, a square peg in a round hole or something like that. We're trying to make something fit that doesn't necessarily fit. And when it doesn't fit, we can't say that it was a bad thing to try. It just wasn't compatible at that moment in time. And that's why I say expectation management is my overarching phrase. You know what I'm saying? But like, incompatibility, you start recognizing supplementary versus complementary. Okay? Like, your complementary pieces you can't do without. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look like you stick out like a broken thumb. You know what I'm saying? But until your complementary piece shows up. When your complementary piece is there, you see one, you know the other is not far from it. You know the philosophy that's associated with that particular individual. You know everything that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know, everybody knows who Rich Paul is, right?
Who?
He's LeBron's agent.
Okay.
So if Rich Paul shows up and he starts talking, right? We know who's behind Rich Paul. You know the next time that you have an interaction with Rich Paul, LeBron's probably gonna be in the room with him. You know what I'm saying?
Or Dale.
Or Dale. You know what I'm saying? Like however you do it. You know, there's a level of, you know, like a connectivity with somebody when you can have a relationship that produces protection and provision. And all of that comes from a complementary relationship. Now, when you got supplementary relationships, those are people that just make you feel good in the moment. And they don't have anything, they don't have no staying power. They don't have no replay value. You know what I'm saying? And you try to make those people fit. So this whole conversation today is all about expectation management. You know what I'm saying? And that's the tool that I would tell people to take with them. And then within the expectation management, ask yourself a couple of questions. Is the person complementary or supplementary? Neither one of them means that the other person is bad. It just may mean you need to revisit your expectation management. And that's Vic's, you know what I'm saying, tool bag moment for the day. I'll at your boy.
And I like that. That was like a show ender / mic drop. But we can't end the show without the final thoughts. Like, we got to hear something from Antoine to end the show. You know what I mean? So we will end up with the final thoughts. We'll go Antoine, Coach, and then Vic, and then we'll close it out.
Well, I would say this. Listen, all what I learned from tonight, and what I'm taking home, I should say, is that, you know, I've always said it. Like, I'm set in my ways already. I'm not changing for nobody. It is what it is. But I will communicate everything that's expected in the relationship, what I expect, right? And I will be, from my experience that I've had, I will learn to listen to exactly what she expects, because I know myself well enough to know I do want a career woman. I don't want the traditional lifestyle, right? Because I'm not a traditional man like that, right? And when I say that, it's because she had a life before she met me, and at this stage in my life, I'm not going to disrupt hers, and nor is she going to disrupt mine. So it's finding the common ground to say, okay, we both want kids. How do you want to do this? So communication is everything in a relationship. Everything. All what we described tonight was, like Coach said, building the foundation, being all that interdependent, talking, having that dialogue of how you are as a man. You know yourself as a man, right? I don't want kids now. I know to bag it up. You don't want kids now. We're gonna practice, be safe about it, because we're not ready for it. But when we are ready for it, as in the stage that I'm at now, that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth, and the first thing that should come out of anybody's mouth is, what do you want out of this relationship? That's all what it is. And it's being able to accept what comes out of her mouth. And if you don't like it, or you're not in agreement with it, you must be able to walk, because you're not going to change your mind. And she's only going to become resentful later on. Period. She is. You know, people tell me, oh, you know, and I want to say this little thing for me. People say, why wouldn't I marry a virgin? And I say, because she will always wonder if all dicks are the same. Because it's natural for her to think that. It's natural for her to think that, right? So it's natural for the woman that you're bringing into your life at the stage you're at to have these thoughts. And you're foolish to think you're so man enough that she's not gonna think about it. So you have that communication with her to clear the air. So like when, you know, Vic said, you know, you have that sit down, you have those expectations, and you know what you expect out of it. You have to listen to what she expects out of it. But it all boils down to communication, what you want and what you expect out of the relationship you're going into. You're both consenting adults. And if you get that on the floor plan, the table, lay it all out, how can you fail? Are you going to have bumps in the road? Of course. The best part of an argument is making up. That's how I see it. That's it. Was I muted?
Hey, no, you were good, bro. I was just a little slow in the uptake. I think, you know, for me, I think one of the things that's important to understand is that we need to, number one, not be so quick to get to the finish line. I think that defines a lot of the issues, especially when we were younger, you know. But don't be so quick to get to the finish line. And secondly, marriage is not the finish line. That's that's two things to understand. So don't be so quick to get married, and then understand that once you get married, then that's when the hard work begins. Don't think that once you're married, you don't have any work to do. No. The hard work at that particular point in time is the continuation of the lessons learned that got you to the point of saying I do. Right? You should never say I do without learning a person. That's number one. And then after saying I do, you have to put more effort into continuing to learn the person as well, because situations are going to look different as a couple, the married couple, than they did as a dating couple. Keep in mind, number one, I think we need to erase this negative stigma that exists, especially in our culture, of this negativity surrounding the idea of divorce. Listen, I'm not saying that I agree 100% with divorce, even though I'm a divorcee. But here's what I would tell you: divorce is a better option than living a life of stress. Stress will put you in the grave. So if I have to free myself of a stressful situation in order for me to be healthy, then I choose divorce over death. Let's make sure that we clearly understand that. Now, sure, I agree. Somebody probably just said, well, we choose the stress that exists within that same situation. Absolutely right. And it takes both of us to get rid of that stress. If both of us are not working towards getting rid of that stress, then I can't sit around hopefully stressed at the exact same time. It doesn't work that way. So again, don't be so quick to cross the finish line. Getting married is not the finish line. The work begins, literally, the hard work begins once you get married. Because here's the deal: once you get married, it's a more of a commitment. And that was it.
Close this out, Vic. Your final thoughts.
I didn't know y'all need anything else from me. So
We really don't. You did that last mic drop up there,
that's
but
what
I'm just like,
I tried.
you had anything else? I
Hey.
wanted to give you opportunity though.
Hey, look, final thoughts. See the end before you go in. No matter what it is. Like if you can't see the end, don't do it. I understand that you know, you got to do something you never done to achieve something you never had. So like, if you want to achieve peace, you have to do something you never done before, and that's you have to envision what success looks like before you even try it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you decide how successful you want to be, the relationships you choose will be in line with that.
Yep. That is good. That is good right there.
So like, I'm never without. You know what I'm saying? So that's my final thought.
Hey man, it
And
works
I
for
truly
me.
believe that too. It's funny you should say that. I truly believe that. Yeah, where you are in your life, if you bring the right person into that, it's going to be even a plus to it.
That's what I'm talking about, Antoine.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
But
that's why I
thank
know
you
she's
all.
out there.
Huh?
That's why I know she's out there.
Oh, she out there.
And leave the
She out there
cooking in the
looking for
pot for
you.
me. Leave the
She
cooking
out
in
there
the pot
looking
for
for you,
me.
Antoine. She
Yeah,
out
that's
there
right.
looking for you.
And you know what? Listen, I have strict rules on my pot. She scratch it. Ooh boy, I don't know if I can sleep with her that night.
There we go. Hey,
I have to really think about that one.
hey, thank you all for taking time out to support the Uncle Junior Network, Elevated Dialogue, and myself. I appreciate you and your perspective. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification